Hello everyone, welcome to Reiki Radio. I am your host Yolanda, and today we are on day 18 of our 22-day journey with the Major Arcana. And we have gone through some challenging cards over the last few days, and now we land here on the Star. And the energy of this card really speaks to inspiration and optimism, and there's so much beauty in this card that we're going to go over today. But first, of course, I want to welcome those of you who are new to the show. If this is your first time tuning in, we are doing a 22-day journey through the Major Arcana, just looking at the energy around our spiritual journey, what it's like being human, what it's like having the experiences that we have and what we learn and what we experience and how we heal through it all. And we are sharing. If you would like to share your experiences or interpretations, you can join us in the Seeker Circle on Facebook. And for more information about that, as well as some other free tools to help support you on your path, go to my website, yew-chi.com. That's YEWCHI.com, and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get all that you need in that. So today, I was really looking forward to this card, especially after, the consideration of going through the Devil card, the Tower card, which are two of the most challenging cards for some people because of the implications of them. But hopefully with what we have looked at, you can see how those cards were also meant to support us in our growing and working on our own self-mastery, our own self-healing. So one of the questions I would ask you to consider today is something that really comes up for us on this journey, right? And sometimes what even starts us out on it is that questioning of, who am I? Who am I? What is my purpose? What is this life about? What am I experiencing? Why? All of that usually leads us down this journey in the first place of being consciously aware of what it is that we are experiencing and what we hold and what it all means and how it's impacting us, and moving into a space of awareness of our choice. And again, going back to that Magician card, recognizing the tools that we have to navigate this journey to become masters or authority of our human nature. So in all of this, we usually also come to a place of am I being true? Am I being my authentic self? Or what is blocking me? What am I doing? How many times in this do you feel like there's that inner voice, this inner tug, something you want to go forward with, but you feel blocked, And just like we've explored with previous cards, it could be fear, it could be wanting to be accepted, it could be so many things that potentially block us from being our authentic selves. But again, we've gone through some cards that may have felt really challenging and hard, such as the Devil and the Tower card, but those were supporting us in becoming or revealing more of our authentic nature. And so we get to this card today, the Star, and we've been looking at the number, the element, and the associated planet with every card. So this card is the number 17. And one of the first things I'll point out is if we look at the number 17, a 1 and a 7, you can see in this card that there are 8 pointed stars. So there's one that's at the very center. It's yellow, it's huge, and that could be a symbol of the universal mind or the one universal life force source. But what does it take for us to really access that divine alignment? Having that awareness of being in form as well as being one with all that exists. A lot of us work on that through working on our chakra, the 7 chakra, which would be the 7 smaller stars surrounding that 1. So as we come into alignment, and our chakras have been called the gateways of consciousness. So as we work on ourselves, as we work through our blocks, as we do this process of self-healing, we become more aware. It's like this process that we call like our spiritual awakening. And for many people, when they say that, they tend to talk about their spiritual awakening as if it was like a one-time event, like boom, all of a sudden I woke up. But the truth is, like we've learned through this journey, through the major arcana, is life is cyclical. So you will have several moments of layers to your awakening or deepening your level of understanding. Now, you may have had one particular event that really kind of shocked you into awareness, or really shocked you into making a significant change, just like we looked at in the Tower card. But this is an ongoing process. This journey, this healing, this transformation is all part of us becoming more wakeful. So anyway, after we look at the 8 pointed stars, we can also look at the number 17 as, 1 plus 7 is 8. And if we look back at the number 8 card in the major arcana, it's the strength card. And remember, the strength card was kind of like taming the ego, taming our animalistic nature, but also looking at how our strength, or our inner strength, or accessing our inner strength didn't have to be this forceful thing. Now, what's interesting is the strength card was associated with the astrological sign Leo. And here we have the star card, which is associated with Aquarius. And the reason that's interesting is because Aquarius and Leo are opposing signs in astrology. And a lot of opposing signs, when we hear that, we think like they don't work well together. But in fact, their different qualities actually can create support and balance of each other. They can be beautiful mirrors for each other. So when we look at that, we could look at it as this woman in the star card. I almost said strength card. The woman in the star card that is here naked, pouring water into the pool and on the land, is also the woman who was taming the lion in the strength card. So when we bring these two cards together, we're really looking at another aspect of this self-mastery, about what it takes to tame ourselves and really come into this space now here through this journey that we've gone through in between the strength and the star, to come to this space today of seeing our light. When we're doing this work and a lot of our stuff comes up, there tends to be sometimes, the judgment and all of these things, because we're trying to be all light and love. But as we allow ourselves to acknowledge what we hold without fear and without judgment, and we allow ourselves to recognize that we are just allowing ourselves to acknowledge and transform our perspectives around different energies that we hold, we do start to reveal more of our light. We do start to reveal more of the love that we are. So let's back up a little bit. Okay, so this card, the associated element is air, which we know is associated with thought, and also the planet Uranus, which is really about liberation and freedom. So again, those two things, that element and that planet, are associated with Aquarius. And Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian, and we'll get to how that applies. But one other thing I want to point out about this card is, remember that the High Priestess was kind of like a symbol of our intuitive self, and the work that we are the only ones that can do it, but the work that we can do to access our higher wisdom, our higher knowledge. Well, the star card is said to be a symbol of our empathic nature. So if we just look at the last few days, after the death card, there was temperance. And temperance was where we were, looking at balancing or rebalancing after a transformation of sorts. And then after that, we went into the devil card, where we were recognizing what we were bound to, or what we were addicted to, or what was the illusionary chains that we had for ourselves. And after that, yesterday, we hit the Tower card. And the Tower is where it all fell away. And now we're here at the Star, which is about our new opportunity. How we even got here is very important. Because the Star, while it is beautiful, and again, it's like our inspiration, it's optimistic, we want to acknowledge how we got here. And you got here by accessing that inner strength. You got where you are today, no matter where you are in your path. You got here through your experience. And in this work, you got here by having an awareness of what it is you hold, through your perception of the experiences that you've had. And now, as you've learned, you have the tools to shift and lift your perspectives if you are willing to surrender and free yourself. And that's what this has all been about. So here we are at the space of freedom, one level of it. And so if we look at the card, one of the other elements or symbols in this card, there is an ibis or ibis, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's a bird that you see in the tree behind the woman. And that bird is also a symbol of the Egyptian deity Thoth, or Thoth. People pronounce it differently. But he is the god of knowledge and wisdom. And when you think about the symbol in this card, this journey has really been about the wisdom that came through your experience. The wisdom you are starting to access through your inner knowing, your process. What has been going on for you, what you have been experiencing internally and externally. And this is really about acknowledging what you've learned through your choice. And not just the higher, aspects. I mean, you've learned through your ego, right? We learned through the devil card. We learned through the Tower, having it all fall away. But you've also learned through the guidance that has always been there from your higher self. You have been shown through your experience how supported you are by the universe. And our support is seen and unseen, right? I mean, sometimes the support comes in the form of our friends, our family. Sometimes the way that we are supported, like we saw in the Tower, is having the rug pulled from under us just so that we could reach clarity when we didn't have the strength to just do it for ourselves. We are supported in so many ways. Now, after the death card, again, we had temperance. And temperance was all about balancing, right? Remember that person in the card had the 2 cups. And they were creating balance between the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. And if you look at this card, the Star, this person, this woman, is pouring wisdom in one direction. Again, after all that you have gone through in this journey, you have learned so much. Your level of awareness and understanding has expanded. So now here you are, say you are the woman in the Star card. Here you are pouring new ideas and new perspectives back into the pool of collective consciousness, back into that one mind, the field of oneness. But then you're also pouring water back onto earth, nurturing the conscious mind with the same wisdom that you've gained along the way. Now, what's so interesting about, pouring back into this universal mind or the collective consciousness is that it is a reminder that you impact the collective. A lot of times we think of our life experience as being just our own, not taking into account the impact, the influence that we have on everyone and everything. Because again, we are one. We're not separate from anything. So through your journey, your perspectives that you hold, everything that you're healing in your new awareness, you are also helping to heal and lift the collective. So think of it this way. If you, I think of the times where I've seen on social media where, something may be posted and a lot of people are fighting back and forth, very hateful, very angry, this energy going back and forth in the comments. And that starts to build because one person triggers another person and then it's a back and forth and it expands. Now you have this expansive energy of upset. It's gone from just one person into this collective. But then one person will come along and shift. One person will come along with a different perspective that may be more positive, more optimistic, more loving. And then all of a sudden you'll see a shift in the comments where other people then start to consider this higher point of view. That one person in their shift, in their lifting, then caused a shift within the collective. Now, no, it didn't shift everyone necessarily, but it did shift some. So again, this is a reminder that this beautiful work that you are doing on yourself extends out and helps to lift everyone. And that's really the energy of Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer and considered the humanitarian because here, just like in the picture, it is pouring back wisdom to the collective. So after the discomfort of what we may have encountered, through the looking at ourselves and acknowledging what we hold and all of these things, we come to this card today reminding us that we have choice in how we love and nurture ourselves after the storm. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This card is like that space of clarity you have after going through something that may have been very hard. And if you think about, again, the associated planet with this card, again, Uranus or Uranus, everyone pronounces everything so differently. But anyway, this planet is about the energy of liberation and freeing us. And as we've learned throughout this journey, we free ourselves through our mind. The way we see things influences how we experience things. The way we hold things in thought or memory influences how we carry things energetically and what may or may not trigger us. The way we hold things, the way we perceive things, impacts how compassionate, how loving we allow ourselves to be. Now, when we were at the Devil card a few days ago, remember that was the energy of Saturn, and that planet is associated with limitation or lessons. Really looking at that. And then immediately after we moved to the Tower, which was with the planet Mars, and Mars is the god of war. And, that battle was won. Whatever you were holding on to, it was tore down. And then again, we move now after that, after the storm, after the war, we stand in this energy of freedom. And because Aquarius, in this energy of this card, it's really about standing in your uniqueness. Aquarian energy is about being your authentic self. So the picture of the person in this card, she's naked. And as we've talked about in other cards, the nakedness is a symbol of vulnerability. having nothing to hide. Free from who you thought you had to be. This is about being free from who you thought you had to portray, or being free from what you were clinging to, or what you thought you had to value, what you thought you had to agree to. Being free from whatever it was you were in fear of, because all that got stripped away. And now you finally move to this space of being able to see your light and have an appreciation for you. Really starting to value yourself, your self-worth, your truth, the part of you that has always been there. Now you're able to stand here and experience that aspect of you without disguise. You're starting to really see you. Beyond the stories, beyond the ideas, beyond the labels, beyond all the things that we build up through our life experience. This is a symbol of self-healing, self-love, and acceptance. And ultimately, it's really a symbol of growth. How we rebuild and radiate after that storm. Now, when you look at the picture that is being poured out to the earth, there are 5 streams of water that it's creating. So this could be a symbol of purification of our 5. Remember, we looked at the different aspects of the magician. So this could be purification of our mind, our emotion, our will, what we're creating, and also spirit. The 5-pointed star. This is a symbol of that cleansing, of again moving deeper into the space of self-mastery. Some say it is a symbol of our sensory, our 5 senses, becoming more aware. It's really interesting, when we do step out of feeling like we are being beat up and really see the gifts of what we are learning. It's unreal how much you start to appreciate and what you start to be thankful for, and how much you do start to trust and you do start to understand. Like, everything about you begins to shift and change through your awareness. Now, if we also look at this picture that is being poured out on the other side, the woman is pouring into the pool of water. And in the pool of water, there are this ripples that are being made in the pond. And remember, that pond is a symbol of the collective mind, the universal mind. And these ripples are a symbol of the change that has occurred through your wisdom, your self-healing. Again, a symbol of the change that occurs in the collective field. But think of, again, the impact of that, the change that is happening for the collective, the healing that is happening for the collective just through you. Because we are one with all that exists. Now, think of the work you're doing, and there are several thousands of other people listening to the podcast. I'm doing the work, you're doing the work, other people are all doing the work seemingly individually. But all of us in numbers are doing work to lift, to heal, to transform. Think of the impact that is making on the collective. It's such a beautiful thing. So, here we are back again at this stream of consciousness of the high priestess. Remember, she was guarding it, letting us know that we could access it on our own. But in this picture, there is also the symbol of balancing. Balancing through the wisdom that we've obtained on this journey. So you can see the person is kneeling on the land. They have their left leg bent, kneeling on the earth. And then they have their right foot resting on top of the water. Balancing this consciousness, balancing and understanding, harmonizing who and what you are. You know, I really do. I always say it, you know, it takes a strong soul to sign up to do this work. But I also, you know, ask you to consider how fortunate you are really to have these experiences to learn through, to become more aware of your energy, to become more aware of what you hold, to become more aware of your mind, so that you can direct your mind, your energy, in ways that support you. So here on the other side, one of the things you can ask yourself today is, what have I learned? What have I learned through this journey? What have I become aware of? The love that I am, how resilient I am, the choice that I have, the power of forgiveness. How are you more aligned with you as a result of this work? Now, of course, we have more layers to go through. We have more cycles to go through. But each time we unlayer more and more, we become more and more aware. How lucky we are. And again, that we get to share it collectively. So that is the star card. It's such a beautiful, beautiful energy. And tomorrow we move on to the moon. We have 4 cards left. That's it. So our last day of this journey will be on Monday. And on Monday, once we are done, I'm going to do a Facebook Live just to check in again with everyone. See what's coming up for you. What has this experience been like? Have you had any realizations? Have you learned anything? Do you feel like you're growing? Anything at all. I would love to hear what is coming up for you, as always. So again, you can join us in the Seeker Circle. Be sure to go to my Facebook, not my Facebook, my website, yew-chi.com. That's YEWCHI.com. Sign up for the newsletter, and I will see you there. So that is all for today, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your afternoon, and remember to always journey in love.